When we're working with numbers in JavaScript, we have three options available when we wish to convert the number in some way. The parseInt and parseFloat functions are specifically used when you wish to convert strings into numbers. When you're working with strings, it's usually better to use parseInt or parseFloat because they're more straightforward. In this video, though, I'll be showing you how to convert or cast numbers using the number function. There are various complexities around using the number function to convert numbers. We'll start by looking at some basic number conversions. So when you pass in a numerical value to the function, it will simply return the number. Let's have a look in the console. I'll just start with the number 1. So I type number and pass in 1 to the parameters. This returns 1. Let's repeat this with 80. Lastly, let's repeat this again with 1000. So what about non-numerical values? If you pass in false or null, you'll get 0 returned. Let's give this a go. So I type number and I pass in false. I get 0 returned. If I do this again with null, I also get 0 returned. So what about true? Let's give this a go. This time I get 1 returned. If you pass in undefined, or a value which is undefined, then NaN, or not a number, will be returned. Let's start by trying this with undefined. Now, let's declare a variable which will not initialize with any value. I'll call the variable he. Now let's pass this into the number function. Again, I get NaN, so not a number returned. When you're working with strings, if you pass in a basic number, the conversion will work as expected. So let's start by doing this with a string containing 1. I get 1 returned. Now let's repeat this with 100, and then 1000. Each time I get the number returned. If the string starts with 0, then this will be ignored. Let's give this a go with the string 0, 1. We get only the 1 returned. Decimal values also work in a similar way. So let's start by passing in a string containing 1.1. I get 1.1 returned. If I pass in 0.1, I get 0.1 returned. However, if I pass in 1.1.1, I get NaN or not a number returned. As with parseInt and parseFloat, a decimal is valid the first time but not after that. If you pass in an empty string, then you'll get 0 returned. This works for both an empty string or an empty string containing white space. Lastly, hexadecimals are converted into the hexadecimal equivalent. If I pass in 0xa into the number function, I get 10 returned. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please like and subscribe for more content.